Good morning, everybody. I'm meteorologist Taylor Stephenson for 13 News Now. Here's your Tropics update as of September 10th at 8 a.m. Today is peak hurricane season. This is where we see the majority of our strongest storms and the number of storms that roll through the Atlantic Ocean. We have a while to go. Hurricane season doesn't end officially until November the 30th. Now, Hurricane Lee is what we're all watching here in the U.S. As of this morning, a Category 2 hurricane with sustained winds of 105 miles an hour. Now, the reason that Hurricane Lee lost a lot of its strength is that it went through an area of very high shear. What wind shear is that it's the changing of wind direction with height. Tropical systems do not like that. They want everything to be very uniform throughout the atmosphere. That's why Hurricane Lee weakened over time. It's forecast to become a Cat 4 again by Tuesday morning before weakening as it heads north. Now this cone is a little bit closer to Bermuda than the East Coast, which is good news for us. But of course, we're thinking about our friends in Bermuda as well as they are preparing for this hurricane. The GFS and Euro models are models that we use to determine long-range forecasts. The GFS is an American model, and we also have a European model. This morning, the GFS in much better agreement that this thing is going to stay pretty well east of the southeast and the mid-Atlantic. Now, when we head a little closer north towards the northeast and parts of eastern Canada, we get a little bit more of uncertainty. That's why you're seeing some of those lines and spaghetti models starting to wiggle about as you head north. The European model does agree with the GFS model, keeping this pretty well offshore for us here in the mid-Atlantic through the southeast. But again, confidence definitely wavers as we head further out into the forecast. So as we get closer to parts of the northeast and eastern Canada, we'll surely be watching to see how this interacts. But putting the Euro model and GFS model right on top of each other, they're in great agreement of where really this will be. The GFS model a little bit faster than the Euro model, but a cold front associated with another big upper level disturbance should keep this well away for us here, at least in Hampton Roads and south all the way through Florida. But what we will notice is that we will have rough rift currents and rough surf as we head into the next few days. That's all because Lee will be churning up these waters and will be becoming a pretty massive storm. So wave height already about 40 feet near the center of Lee as it makes its way super slowly towards parts of the extreme western Atlantic. You'll notice wave height starts to go up anywhere from parts of New Jersey all the way down towards Florida. We'll see wave height by Wednesday morning reaching 6 to about 8 to 10 feet already before it even really starts to move more north. So we'll watch to see how high these waves will be. Again, the forecast wavers a little bit the further you go out. So we know impacts right now in a pretty big way for us here by Wednesday, but beyond Wednesday, things become a little bit more uncertain. This other area where you're seeing some of those larger wave heights, that is Tropical Storm Margot, which will become future Hurricane Margot. Now, I want to make this a big emphasis that this is how many days it would take to reach the U.S. coast. We're talking about 6 to 7 days at this point, so we still have a while to go. So all I will say is just be patient. It's okay. This takes a little bit longer, especially as Lee is forecast to slow down. So here in parts of Hampton Roads, so we're talking Southeast Virginia and Northeast and North Carolina, including the Outer Banks, we're talking some beach erosion, rip current risk, and large waves. We're also talking some minor tidal flooding and some rain from the front that will keep Lee away from making landfall here. We're also watching Tropical Storm Margot, like I said, big wave heights as you head towards the central Atlantic, but thankfully forecast to stay well away from land and to become our next hurricane in the Atlantic basin. We also are watching two areas of development this morning. We have the big one to the left side of your screen. That is a 30% chance of development over the next week. And then this really small area is another area we're watching just around parts of the Cape Verde Islands that has a 30% chance of development over the next 7 days and the next 2 days. We do have a few names still on the list for us here in parts of the hurricane names. We're talking Nigel, Ophelia, and Philippe. These will be the next names if any storms become named storms. Those are the next 3 names on the list. More on the tropics comes with our 5 p.m. update. For now, I'm meteorologist Taylor Stephenson with 13 News Now.